Hello again, and welcome to this week's episode of Tippy Toes Behind the Curtain. Today, you get to hear from Morgan Rowe, who is our brand and content manager here at Tippy Toes, and she has a really unique journey. She actually started out as a teacher at our Scottsdale franchise location and is now an integral part of the corporate team. So it's really neat to hear about her development within the company and all of the ways that she contributes so beautifully to making Tippy Toes great every single day. I think you're really going to enjoy hearing from her, and let's get started. Morgan, I'm so excited that you're here today. This is like Morgan's the behind the scenes of all the things, but of the podcast. And then here you are, I'm getting to interview you today. So thank you so much.
Yes, I know. I'm really nervous. I'm not going to lie, but being behind the curtain and now I'm in front of the curtain. So
Here you are. And we decided we were going to try this whole video thing. So now you're not only the voice, but now your face too.
Yeah, we're really doing things today.
I love it so much. Okay, well, I want to start because your journey with Tippy Toes is one that I love and something that Marie and I talk about a lot. But can you tell us about your journey to Tippy Toes?
Yeah, kind of the before getting to Tipton. Yeah, for sure. Well, my journey, it's kind of, I think maybe unexpected or funny or weird, but I went to college for film and media production. So not my job, right? But super fun. I was just in love with the magic of movie making. And so I really took into the producer role and I was working on sets. Like I worked for a production company in LA. So it was just really fun. But COVID happened. And so I don't know if you know, but like it totally shut down the movie industry. Um, yeah, so it was just it kind of dimmed the fire and the passion I had for it. And I literally remember sitting on my mom's couch because I was living there at the time and I turned my tassel because of graduation.
Oh, what a bummer.
I know. It was like it was what we had to do, right? It was just the sign of the times. But that COVID definitely put a damper on that. So after COVID kind of like lightened up a little bit, I just got a quick, easy job at the preschool I actually grew up in. So little bit.
I didn't know that either. Wow.
Yeah, it was like full circle moment. And my friend worked there, so it was just an easy, quick gig. And I loved like kids. So like that was the highlight of my day. But it was a little draining if I'm being completely honest, just because it was so far away. Like my commute in the morning took like an hour. And then when I would have my full long day of crying kids or rushing them to sleep, I would drive home in rush hour traffic again. It would be like hour plus. So I'd get home, I'd eat dinner, and I would just like fall asleep and then just like rinse and repeat. And I just wasn't finding joy in it. So I went on Indeed and I was like, you know what, let's just see what's out there. Right. And I saw Tippy Toes and I grew up dancing. I was in like the Royal Academy of Dance and I was just like, let's just see what happens. Like I wasn't expecting anything. But then I met with Maria and then Maria Fessler, shout out Maria. And it just like there was something in me that was like, you gotta feel this out. Like this is something to not just sweep under the rug. So I met with Megan for my second interview and it was just like I was sold. I was like, whatever I need to do to make you guys full time, like just tell me and I'll do it. So yeah, that's kind of my story to Tippy Toes. And I started as a dance teacher. So
Which I think is so amazing because some of our best workers and employees and franchise owners truly started as a dance teacher. And I think that's so exciting to think that this job can turn into so much more if you put in the work and if you are passionate about it. And I remember meeting you and being like, wow, she's really got it together, really good with the kids. I'll never forget
Yeah.
we did like this um photo shoot type thing, and we were like, let's do jumps. Do you remember? And all of a sudden, like you like jumped to the sky, and I'm like, what?
Yes.
That's
We did teardrops. Like, it was so random.
so random. And I was like, wow. So you had this like, but then you were super, even at that point, super organized, and like the teacher that we kept like, wow, you always did a little bit extra more than what you needed to or what you were asked. So then take me through what happens next.
Yeah, so I applied as a teacher and I got the job. It was for our Scottsdale location that it was like just opening. So I was one of the first ones. And then I said it. I fell in love with Tippy Toes. I want to do full time. Like, what can I do more? So I slowly got into the admin role of Scottsdale and was helping out our manager. And then I think it was like 6 months later, I got promoted to our corporate planning coordinator, which is totally runs in my blood. And it's kind of funny. It relates back to like my producer role in college. Like, you're scheduling, you're building the team, you're making sure everyone is where they're supposed to be at the right time. So it was just really fun. I felt like it really connected. And then a little bit more time went by, and now I'm our brand and event manager, which I'm so excited about.
Okay, but let me time out really quick for anybody listening that maybe is one of our dance teachers or is just in any kind of job, and they're like, how do I move to the next level?
Yep.
The way you did it is by showing up well every single time and then doing almost more than you were asked. Like, and you did it with such excellence. One of our core values is diligence. And that's you, like you're diligent with everything that you do. And I need you so much in my life because I'm like, here, this is good. And then you like organize it, but you have this gift to excel in all the areas that you're responsible for, and you make sure that things are done well. And so you become an asset for our team. Like, we can't do without Morgan. And so let's continue to create jobs and things to keep you around. And that's what I think companies do when they find good people. You have to keep them. And that's something that we've talked about. And then it has allowed you to grow into this role that you have, which I think is awesome. What a cool journey. I love it.
So crazy. I never would have guessed that I'm here today.
I'm so happy you are. And one of the things, well, your title is brand and event manager, which is, I think both of them, like if you were brand manager, that's a big job, and event manager, that's a big job, but we put them together. So you have like double big job. But I'd like for you to speak into what those roles are, maybe like take them, one at a time, just so people listening can understand the importance and the weight of what it is that you do.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start on the event side. So you kind of said it, like I wear a lot of hats, but one of the biggest buckets is events. And so I get to really be hands-on in our recital process. So we like to give owners when they launch just recital in a box. If you've ever planned a recital or anything on that scale, it can be very time consuming. So our goal is to just make it as seamless as possible for franchise owners. Here's your costumes, here's your theme, here's your social media graphics. Like, you don't have to plan much. So that's just kind of my goal with recitals. I also do our annual conference where all of our owners come together once a year and just bond and connect. I said this on another call, but like, there are owners, like 80 plus franchises across the US, all doing the exact same thing. But they don't get to interact with each other a ton except for on our platform, like our digital platform. So this once time a year, they all come together, they connect, they're like, it's like a brainstorming session almost, or like they use each other as a sounding board, which I think is so cool. So it's awesome to just give that event so that they can do that. And then it just sparks more ideas for the company. So it's even better.
Yeah, so good. I love that. And then also, I'll just keep going for you.
Yeah.
Once a month, we welcome new franchise owners. And with that, you coordinate all that goes into that, which is a lot too.
Yeah. So there's so many things. Yeah. So once a month we have our brand new onboarding, like new training happening every month. So owners come in, they fly out to Arizona, and me and Carrie, we kind of tag team this event a little bit, but basically they come, they learn all the ins and outs of tippy toes. It's kind of a fire hose of information of a week. And then we send them back and then they're ready to build their business. But yeah, the time spent there, again, it's all about connection. We get to have dinner with them. We get to spend 2 or 3 days together. We take them to a class so they can see the magic of tippy toes and the business that they bought. Yeah, it's all so great.
Good, so good. Okay, now let's shift. So that's
Yeah.
events. There's always events. I mean, we have a
Oh,
corporate retreat coming up that Morgan's in charge of. It's funny, I have told her I really want to spoil our team. And then
mhm.
I'm like, but can you help me? And she's on the team. I'm like, but can you help me? So anyways, you're just so gifted in that way. So then the other side of your job, which is really tied in
Mhm.
together, but is the brand. Why
Wow.
is it so important that our brand stays pure?
Gosh, I mean, it's extremely important. Like, it's kind of hard to describe, but I think if you think true north, if everyone has the same mission, the same goal, you're all trekking the same way, you're going to get there so much quicker together and stronger, and you're going to build so many awesome things together. But if there's one person who's slightly off track, they're at a totally other destination. And maybe, and it can be so simple. It can be the type of color that someone uses on a social post. It can be a font, like it could just be different wording. That takes you a little bit off track. So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we have 80 plus franchises that you got to kind of reel in or just kind of keep an eye on. But it's something I kind of have you ever seen those games where it's like spot the difference or I spy or something?
Yes,
Yeah. So I grew up loving those games.
that's awesome.
Loving those things. And I now in retrospect, like that's my job. It's like, okay, this is the model and does this match? So it's
So
extremely important, but it's like I find joy in it and maybe other people don't, but it's like I think we were creating Bopa the butterfly as a plush doll, which is really fun. And we were like, oh, her shoes need to be purple, not pink. And it was like the minor detail. But if you look at Disney, like Mickey Mouse, he wears his red shorts, he's got big ears, like you see his logo, you know who he is.
right.
That's the goal with Tippy Toes. Is like if you see the two ballet slippers together, that's Tippy Toes. Like
Yes, love that.
everyone will know that that's Tippy Toes.
Well, I just think it's so important, especially as people are coming into our company. We're
Mhm.
having to teach them. Like there's some, quarter turns where people think they do it with good intentions, like, oh, this is cool. And we're like, no, 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 this is how you do it. But what it does is it makes it recognizable over
Yeah.
and over and over, which I think is the beauty of it. And hard to learn in the beginning, but unmistakable once you get the rhythm. Like you're saying, it's like, it stands out a lot if the color is just slightly off. So I love that. And then, just to ensure consistency across the board is huge because what happens in the West Coast, we want it to happen in, the Central and then the East Coast too, to make sure that, everything's kind of the same. So
Yeah.
I would love to know, gosh, you and I work on a lot of projects. You work on a lot of projects with everybody. But but you are kind of my go-to person for big projects, and because I think we work really well together. What are some big projects that we are working on right now that you're excited about?
Oh my gosh. Well, I want to be kind of vague just in case something doesn't happen, but my favorite is just streaming with you. I feel like it's so fun to use my creative side. Like I can be techie, I can do the editing or like whatever needs to happen, but I really inspired to just have like the dreaming that you do and really work that muscle because when we're younger, like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be creative and imaginative. So just working with you on dreaming is just really awesome all around in general. But some of the things we really work on is recitals. Back to that, like, I know we're already talking about winter 2025 and like 2026 even, like that's super exciting. And I know we're talking to some possible companies where maybe we can get in stores and get to more public. So I don't want to go into too specific to keep it, but all of my projects I feel like are so fun with you.
I love that. I love it too. I think we work really well together. And my favorite thing is, okay, Morgan, like, what do you think about this? And then you come up with so many ideas too. And then together collaborating, being like, okay, this final product. And I would say like our recital, To Be in Friends recital day album or book was so fun to work with you because I felt like I had the big idea, but it was you that really structured all the things to make it perfect for Tippy Toes, to make it so recognizable to our brand, which I think is just so special. So, okay, if you had to describe the Tippy Toes brand in 3 words, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Okay. I feel like, I mean, not to, I'll steal from our values a little bit with this one. I feel like our brand is joyful. This is 2 words, so maybe you can help me, but like service focused.
Yeah.
I guess sure, that could, that's and also just quality. I feel like we have such a high bar, like even for our teachers, for our franchise owners, like even on the corporate team, like we are so like classes need to be this way in order to make the impact that we want to. So I'd say quality is the 3rd one.
It's actually like those are our core values. Like quality could be diligence, which is awesome.
Yeah, they're right there.
Both of us just have it right here but this is what we go after. This is if we are showing on video, our vision, our mission, and our core values. And I think by you describing that without me, knowing what I was going to ask you, our core values are instilled in everybody on Tippy Toes. And I think that's what makes us special, is that everybody has, service, connection, diligence, and joy, the top of their mind. So everything that we do, how can it really point back to those values that Tippy Toes has? And so I think that's so fun. Okay, my last question for you, but what is your hope for the future? Like if you could have a big dream, like, I really think it would be cool if we could blank, what would that be?
You know what's funny is every time I hear you like tell the origin story of Tippy Toes and combining that with my background, with you wanting to do a TV show, I feel like we can get there.
That would be amazing.
Like it's just the little dream that started it all, right? But I feel like that would be really cool. Honestly, just impacting more students across the US. Like, I mean, I started as a dance teacher in Scottsdale, Arizona, maybe impacting 1 classroom. But on such a larger scale, like that's happening all across the US in multiple classrooms, multiple times a day. So that would be another goal. I think just growth, I think overall is my key takeaway. Like growth of the business, growth of our franchisees, growth of our team, and what like we can accomplish and hand over to our franchise owners. And then even for myself too, I think we've talked about some personal goals of mine, and I just really want to reach those this year. So stay tuned.
Well, I love it. And I think that is so special to hear somebody that is overseeing our brand, making sure the quality's there, also wants growth. And I think it's like a dance that we do. Like we don't bring anybody into Tippy Toes that is not going to uphold the standards that we have, that's not going to align with our vision, mission, and core values. But once they do, us giving the tools to allow them to grow is huge. So, and I just think about all the little dancers all across the US, and some now that I taught long ago now are of age to buy a franchise. So I'm like,
yes.
cool.
that weird? Does that feel weird for like you?
Old. Sometimes I think you don't know how old you are until you reflect back to that. Or like when I tell the origin story and I said I opened the yellow pages and went to the closest daycare, then I'm like, I need to say that differently. Like, but I did put it on my cell phone then,
No, I think it's so great because it dates it, but that's not a bad thing. Like we've been strong for 26 years, right? Like I remember I'm very small. So growing up, I sat on my yellow pages books to be at the dinner table.
Gosh, that is so funny to be at the dinner table because you were so
tiny. I just wanted to be with everybody, so I'd pick up a book and I'd sit on it.
It's awesome. Now every time we tell the story, I'm gonna think of you just sitting on the
good or bad.
I love it. Well, Morgan, always just my time with you is so special. But thank you so much for leaning into this part of it and for coming in front of the curtain instead of behind the curtain and sharing what you do. You are so special to our company.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. As much as I don't love it, I did love my time with you.
Thanks so much.
Oh, yes. Just like Sarah said, it is awesome to see Morgan in front of the curtain for once, though our podcast is called Behind the Curtain. She is so gifted, so talented, and we're so lucky to have her here at Tippy Toes. If you're interested in becoming a part of Tippy Toes, you can reach out to us at tippytoesfranchise.com.